Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Titan Sports. I'm Colin Costigan.
Great to see you again. I'm Francisco Molina.
How's it going? I'm Noah Segovia.
And I'm Justin Rosette. We're here to get the ball rolling to provide you with your weekly sports updates. Welcome to Titan Sports.
Former NHL forward died after his neck was cut by another player's skate during a game in England last Saturday. The death of American ice hockey player Adam Johnson caused silence in the NHL and among his former team, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Adam Johnson, a former Pittsburgh Penguins player, was in his first season with the Nottingham Panthers of the Elite Ice Hockey League in England. Johnson had been with the Pittsburgh Penguins for 2 seasons. Johnson did not play in many NHL games in Pittsburgh. Monday night, the Penguins made sure that his memory will live on within the organization. The Anaheim Ducks joined the Penguins at center ice before and during the game for a tribute to Johnson.
Adam Johnson will be remembered forever. Pittsburgh coach Mike Sullivan said after the game, quote, "It's an incredible tragedy. It was a privilege to be his coach," end quote. In moments like these, sports games show that they are more than just a sport. The hockey community comes together to show that hockey is a family. It's heartbreaking to lose a great guy, a great teammate, and a great human being. We send all of our love and prayers to his family and loved ones in this time.
A 4th athlete has become a member of the world's billionaire club. Magic Johnson, former NBA point guard and Lakers giant, is now a billionaire, according to Forbes. Earvin Magic Johnson, NBA Hall of Famer and businessman, is officially a billionaire, according to Forbes. Johnson is the 4th athlete to achieve billionaire status after Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Tiger Woods. Magic made just $40 million playing in the NBA, but most of his wealth doesn't come from basketball. His business career took off with investments with the Lakers, Starbucks, and the Dodgers, as well as a minority ownership in LAFC and the Sparks. He is now the chairman and CEO of Magic Johnson Enterprises.
Johnson was a prolific player for the Lakers during his career, earning and investing the money he made well in and out the court. His intelligence, his investments in other professional sports teams include the Washington Commanders, the WNBA Los Angeles Sparks, and the MLS team LAFC, have proven he's a skilled businessman.
The Los Angeles Clippers made a blockbuster trade earlier this week to acquire James Harden from the Philadelphia 76ers. The 76ers traded James Harden, PJ Tucker, and Filip Petrusev to the Clippers for Robert Covington, Marcus Morris, Nicholas Batum, Kenyon Martin Jr., a 2028 unprotected first-round pick, 2 second-round picks, a 2029 pick swap, and an additional first-round pick from the Oklahoma City Thunder. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reported that the two sides began talks again over this past weekend to get the star guard to Los Angeles. Harden had been sitting out after the team decided they were going to move forward without him in the lineup. Harden and Sixers president Daryl Morey had a tumultuous offseason that would eventually lead to him being traded to the Clippers.
Harden will join star players Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook to form a formidable team in the Western Conference. The two sides had been in talks right before the season started and finally got the deal done late this past Monday night.
Argentina soccer star Lionel Messi won the Ballon d'Or for a record 8th time in Paris this past Monday night. He finished with the award, with Manchester City striker Erling Haaland finishing in second for the coveted award. Messi had another great year in his illustrious career as a large part of the Argentina star. Winning the award has to do with the success on the international stage, as he was able to win a World Cup with Argentina in December 2022 in Qatar. He finished with 42 goals and 26 assists in the season. The star now resides in Miami, Florida, with the MLS club Inter Miami FC, after 2 seasons at Paris Saint-Germain in France with star forward Kylian Mbappe.
Messi will continue his career in the United States with the Miami side after early 20 seasons in Europe with Barcelona and PSG. Messi has accomplished everything in European soccer, and the 8th Ballon d'Or is the cherry on top for a great 2022-2023 campaign. Messi is the first MLS player to win the Ballon d'Or.
The last couple weeks in college football have been interesting to say the least. The NCAA is investigating the University of Michigan for stealing play signs from opponents. The investigation was prompted following a report from ESPN that found Connor Stalions a Michigan staffer purchasing tickets to more than 30 games at 11 different Big Ten conference schools in the past 3 years. In addition to ESPN's report, this was a part of an operation that involved using electronic devices for videos. After buying the tickets, Stalions forwarded the tickets to 3 other individuals. He has since been suspended.
As the NCAA continues its investigation, numerous head coaches within the Big Ten Conference have expressed their own frustrations with the lack of punishment towards Michigan. ESPN's Pete Thamel reported on Wednesday that the coaches in the Big Ten were in a 90-minute video call with the conference's commissioner, Tony Petitti, for a regular meeting. Near the ending of the meeting, coaches gave their thoughts on the situation. One source told ESPN that a vast majority of the coaches in the video called and urged Petitti to take action against Michigan. In an interview with Andy Staples of On3, Matt Rule, the head coach for the University of Nebraska football, talked about the magnitude of the investigation, saying, quote, "I think a lot of people's lives, livelihoods, jobs, their seasons, players' health, all kinds of things have been impacted by this. It was an opportunity for really all of us for the first time to just kind of see what's going on and talk about it," end quote. Head coach Jim Harbaugh has denied the accusations as Michigan is currently 3rd in college football rankings.
Stay tuned for our roundtable discussion coming up right after the break. All right, just beginning off with the NHL, the story Adam Johnson, really unfortunate situation. All I can really say is just I'd like to send condolences to his family, of course, and to the Nottingham Panthers organization, as well as the Pittsburgh Penguins. Any for your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd like to send their prayers out to the family and everybody within those 2 organizations. It's a sad, sad story. Hopefully, the NHL and other organizations can learn from this experience and help out the players.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, and it's a sad story to have to report. Our condolences, our prayers with the family, the Johnson family, and but like you said, Noah, if there's anything, maybe we can learn from it and put more stricter rules, especially what's going on on the skating rink.
Yeah, I think you always hate to see things like this with former professional athletes dying, and I think in this manner that it happened, as he was like in the middle of playing a game, is very sad. So, as we said, all we can really do is send our prayers and condolences to the family and all his family and loved ones at this time.
Yeah, moving on to a much more interesting story. Magic Johnson just became the 4th athlete to reach the billionaire status. Considering all the investments he's made with Starbucks, multiple sports teams, most notably the Dodgers, what does this say about his investments?
I think one thing that if the young athletes can learn is don't wait until the end of your career to start doing this, because Magic did it. If you look at the documentaries, if you look at the interviews he's done with the Lakers, what did he do when he was a young player? He talked to Dr. Jerry Buss, the owner of the Lakers at the time, before he had passed away. And he would go on these business trips with him. He would go and pick his brain out. He wanted to learn how to make more money. And it's funny because the way that happened, it wasn't funny how it happened, but Kareem had lost a large investment. And he looked at how Kareem lost, I believe it was around $1 million, and he said, I don't ever want to find myself in that kind of situation. Mm-hmm. So he would go to the owner, try to pick his brain, because Dr. Jerry Buss was huge with real estate. He was a great investor, and he started at a young age. And if there's anything that these young NBA players can do is talk to these billionaires. They're a billionaire for a reason, and look at him now. He's now part of that list.
Yeah. He was a prolific athlete. Now he's an all-star businessman. He has multiple companies. He has foundations for college students, help them out. And I think having an athlete in the business room, not only a minority, helps out the Billionaire Club a lot. And hopefully I wish him the best and more to come.
Yeah, I think when you look at someone like Magic Johnson, it really just lays out the blueprint for athletes nowadays because when you, like you said earlier, he only made $40 million in his playing career, which is crazy because nowadays people get $40 million a year, right? A lot of these guys get max contracts. And so when you look at what he was able to do with that and you look at how much, I guess, money has appreciated over time, you could look at a lot of the athletes nowadays and say, why can't those guys invest and be able to make it to that. When you look at some of the investments, he's a co-owner in a lot of LA sports, the Lakers, the Dodgers, the Sparks, and LAFC. He's also a Starbucks franchisee, and he also partnered with Sony Studios to make Magic Johnson theaters back in the day to bring movies to predominantly black neighborhoods. So just a lot of giving back and things that he's done to make money, and I think just a good blueprint for other athletes nowadays to be able to do the same.
Yeah, and one thing I can say about Magic Johnson, being a Dodger fan, I became a fan right as he took over as part-time, or he got part ownership. Yeah, and what he's done to the stadium renovations he's made, to the way he's attracted fan bases, it's like he's really kind of helped turn the team around. Of course, you have GMs like Andrew Friedman who've done an amazing job, but I can say for sure that he has helped drastically improve that organization's fan base, as well as just really appealing to fans and constantly selling. I mean, you see, we lead attendance every year. So I feel like he has a large part in that as well.
Yeah.
And now, speaking of former NBA players, let's move on to a big NBA trade that just happened with James Harden. We all know James Harden went to the Clippers. So they sent Harden and PJ Tucker, I believe it was Philip Petrusev, and they gave up Robert Covington, Marcus Morris, Nicholas Batum, KJ Martin, a 2028 unprotected first round, 2 second-round picks, a 2029 pick swap, and a first-round pick from OKC. So considering that trade, who do we think won this trade, and does this further heighten the Clippers as contenders?
I believe the Clippers won this trade because they have to be invested in this team. You just mentioned all the first-round picks, the multiple round picks that they're going to have to give up down the road. They don't have that much time left with Kawhi and Paul George, in my opinion. I'm not saying that they're old or washed out by any means, but we know that these windows for NBA teams to accomplish a championship is very limited. And especially with the East getting stacked up in Boston and Milwaukee, this is the Clippers' I believe one of their last kind of final strides with this group to try to get over the hump and finally make it into an NBA Finals. However, the history of the Clippers, we've seen this happen multiple times before, where people, all the Clipper fans in Los Angeles get extremely excited. They say, this is the year we're going to take it. And then what happens the first or second round, either someone gets hurt or they just choke, right? So they won the trade, but it's not by any means, in my opinion, something so worth getting hyped over. I mean, these guys are in the latter part of their careers. They can still ball. However, I don't think that it makes them a championship contender, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think when you look at the Clippers, like we said, they've had Paul George and Kawhi for 3-4 years now, and when Kawhi and Paul George came to LA, it was like, LA is our city now, like we're taking over, and they could have, but they haven't done it yet.
Right.
And so I think anytime a team makes a trade for the superstar guy that they think that's our guy, I think, and this, at least now, I think they won this trade, because when you look at the Bucks, they go get Dame. That's who they felt they needed to get over the hump. And I think that Harden is who the Clippers thought that they needed. Even though they're already a good team, they've looked good this season. They looked at Harden and they said, this guy's a MVP, 7-time All-NBA, 3-time scoring champ. Obviously, he's not that anymore, but he's still a very good player. He's a better passer now than he was before. And so they looked at Harden and they're like, that's our guy. He's going to get us over the hump. And so I think anytime you're willing to trade a lot for a guy, I think in that sense they won the trade because they got who they wanted. But will it actually work out in the end? Will they have won the trade? I guess we'll see. But I think it definitely adds some interest to the Western Conference and makes the LA rivalry more interesting this year.
Yeah, I think it is interesting that they got him. Finally, the trade talk is over. We've been talking about it for, a month and a half?
Yeah.
But I honestly don't think this puts the Clippers in a prime position for an NBA title yet, because the thing that gets me is, what is Ty Lue going to do, and what role is Harden going to choose to play? Because in this presser he said, I'm not a system player, I'm a system. And I don't know, that kind of didn't sit well with me, because they have Westbrook, Paul, Kawhi Leonard, and I wonder if he's going to be a team player or a selfish player. So we'll see.
I think for this trade, I definitely think the Clippers have won the battle, but I think the Sixers are going to win the war because they got the future draft picks, whereas you've got players that are towards the end of their career. So it's really, they have a very, like you said, a very small window to prove that this is going to work, because if it doesn't, it's going to be a really, like, complete sellout, honestly, because it's like you're giving up so much of your future to reliance on 3 stars who are in the very later stages of their career.
Yeah, I think if the Sixers, like, in the long run, I think it'll be better for them, but I feel like for the Clippers, like, for any team, when you make a trade, if you win a championship, in your sense, then you won the trade because you won a ring, right? So if the Clippers win, then it'll be worth it. But if not, then the Sixers will have all their picks, and then it'll look bad. But
and adding on to what you said, Russell Westbrook's having a pretty good season.
He
Against the
is.
Lakers, he did really well.
Really
and
well,
it's like he finally was able to find the mesh. You know, his identity as a basketball player was getting questioned a lot, especially with the Lakers. But he goes to the Clippers, and a little bit of rough start, but now he's found a home. And hopefully, on his camp is probably thinking, I hope Harden coming over here doesn't ruin that for him. So we'll see, right? The NBA season's a long one.
All right, now moving on to the soccer field, we know Messi just won his 8th Ballon d'Or, and if you think about all the numerous accolades he's earned in his career, do you think this finally will solidify him as the GOAT?
I don't think it solidified him. I think he was solidified with the World Cup campaign. However, there has been a lot of backlash, especially in European media. Did he deserve it? Did Haaland deserve it? Right? It was. If you look at the resumes of both of these players and the years they had, it's like asking a mom, who's your favorite child? Clearly, FIFA has a favorite child, and Messi, right? But you look at what Haaland has done at such a young age, so impressive. I mean, he is the future of football. Him and Mbappe, he's gonna win a couple Ballon d'Oros in his own respective time. However, you look at the Cinderella story that Messi was finally able to accomplish. You have the entire world looking at you, biggest stage and the biggest platform, whatever, all looking at you, and in one of the craziest soccer games, if not the craziest soccer, and they won, and he won it with the young squad. It's a Cinderella story, and if you're FIFA, you can't just look the other side. And I think that the committee who voted on this, they know Haaland's going to win a couple more down there. He's such a young player. He has so much potential. This, I believe, though, will be the last one of Messi's career, and I know the Argentinian fan base is enjoying it as much as they can.
Yeah, I think he was already the GOAT, besides the 8 Ballon d'Oro. But I think it's the cherry on top for his career, like you were saying. How it solidifies him now. Like, he can retire now. He has ownership of the Miami team now, so he can relax. So good luck to him, and what a career.
Yeah. All right, Titans, that is all the time we have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Colin Costigan.
It has been a pleasure. I'm Francisco Molina.
Thank you for watching. I'm Noah Segovia.
And I'm Justin Rosette. Be sure to give us a follow on Instagram if you haven't already, at CSUF Titan Sports, to keep you updated on all things sports.